Hi everybody, my name is Josh Fine, and I'm a founder, player, social media manager, and sometimes interim commissioner for the International Fellow League. Many players have come and gone since the start of the IFL, which was loosely in September of 2020. By being a primary part of the IFL's development, I have watched every IFL player play. And with my expertise, today I will be ranking every player in IFL history. This will be an all-time list, so any games played from fall of 2020 until now will be considered. The criteria for this list is how dominant some players have been over others. So, no matter the sample size, if a player's plowed through their competition, they will be placed highly on this list. If a player frequently loses games and has a lot of holes in their style of play, they will be placed low on this list. Without further ado, let's begin the list. Every player ever includes Drew, Sam, William, Josh, Charlie, Peter, Don, Ben, and Declan. Not in that order, but those are the 9 players. Coming in at the lowest spot on our list, number 9 is going to be Ben Richards. Ben is one of my best friends, but unfortunately, I have to put him here. On the positive end, Ben's only official game against Bella and Maya of the WIFL resulted in a win. So he's technically undefeated, but Ben is at number 9 because of his really poor shooting form, lack of understanding of basic basketball rules, and the inability to maintain composure on the court. In his game against the WIFL, we saw him shoot the ball from his chest, travel and double dribble multiple times, and lose his composure when the game wasn't going his way. When it comes to size and speed, Ben is about 5'7", smaller than most IFL players, and has shown a lack of speed in his game. Due to Ben's poor fundamentals, size, and speed, he is unfortunately the worst player in IFL history. Coming in at number 8 on this list is Don York. Don has been in multiple IDFL matchups, so we've seen glimpses of what he can do. He's shown the slight ability to shift around defenders and make space for himself. His shooting consists of charging up his whole body and chucking up a rainbow, so it could use some work. In the scrimmage versus Pritz, Don made a couple defensive plays because it was hard for guys like Henry and Charlie Folker to see him coming. Overall, he took a very passive role in that game, while William and Charlie took over most of the offense. I don't think Don has ambitions to play at the IFL level, but his knowledge of the game of basketball, likely acquired from his storied coaching career, is why he ranks number 8 on this list. Coming in at number 7 on this list is expensive clothes and Canada merchant Declan Tucker. Declan looks pretty stiff when playing basketball, and in a 2v2 setting, he's far from the first option, likely because he doesn't care enough to take off his expensive clothes before playing. The biggest sample we've seen from Declan is the BTS Meal Classic, where he totaled only 4 points and 1 assist. However, the upside with Declan is greater than any other IDFL player. He knows the game the best. He can set screens, occasionally put clamps on his opponent, and shoot the ball decently well. Coming in at number 6, the first non-IDFL player on our list is Ohio citizen Peter Koenig. By far the biggest reason Peter ranks this high is because of his ability to box out, get rebounds, and play defense. In Peter's prime, the 2-on-2 season of 2021, he averaged 22.5 rebounds and led the league in steals with 4.7 a game. When Peter wants to get a rebound, he might as well give up. This is something I've learned from experience and something that every other IFL player would attest to. Unfortunately, that's the extent of Peter's strengths. In the aforementioned 2-on-2 season, Peter had a 2-4 record and had the poorest field goal percentage with 31.8. Scoring less than a third of his shot attempts is due to his deficiencies in the paint. You'll often find him easily getting in the paint, similarly to how he keeps everybody else out of the paint, but he's unable to lay up the ball. He's a little bit floppy, and not in a good way. He's not going to draw a foul by exaggerating contact. He's going to throw his hands up under the rim and pray that the ball goes in. Unfortunately, Peter has not benefited from the best that the IFL has to offer. There was scarce opportunity for growth in the seasons he played in, because every game he played was with a new teammate. In short, although Peter is a force to be reckoned with when the ball clinks off the rim, his deficiencies on offense and lack of growth in the league rank him as the worst non-IDFL player on this list. Number 5, Drew. Drew's strength is his athleticism. He's the most muscular player. His vertical is ahead of every IFL player ever, and he's the fastest. When Drew wants to get to the basket, it's almost like a running back charging at you because he lowers his head and shoulders and he doesn't care what's in his way. The problem is, his athleticism is barely tapped into unless he's mad. He has anger issues. Although showing emotion is an expression of how important the game is, it's sometimes frustrating to watch Drew compete because when you think he should be at the peak of his powers, he quits. Let's take a look at Drew's entire career as an IFL player. His first appearance in the league was in a best-of-5 series against William, the winner of which would go to the finals. He established a 2-0 lead, then hurt his knee. Then, William called back to tie the series at 2 apiece. Game 5 was a close game that went down to the wire. Drew, who was injured, still had a good shot of meeting Josh in the finals. But then, he just inexplicably quit. He tackled William and forfeit the game. In the following 2v2 season, Drew played a very well-rounded season. He was a scorer, an athletic playmaker on defense, good at making cuts, setting screens, moving off the ball, and slashing to the paint like I mentioned earlier. In the finals, he was a good second option, as the stats show, but William did the vast majority of the cooking on offense as they won the championship. A year later, Drew's second ring came as a coach to William. In short, Drew is a very well-rounded basketball player, but his frequent tantrums have prevented us from seeing his full potential. He has 2 rings, but was a sidekick to William while winning both of them. He has never won an MVP or Depoy award. His overall record is 8-8. Coming in at number 4 is the master of flaking.
I just wanted to blow the whistle.
Oh, that's a tech.
Charlie Calero. Charlie is the ultimate street baller of the IFL, and the passion and trash talk that he brings to the games is a sign of that.
For only $4,000. Charlie?
Only 40 cents a day, you could help Josh fix his broke-ass jump shot.
Dude, I can drop this kid so easily.
Showing up late, playing under some sketchy influences, and stealing other players' beverages were habits that Charlie used to get into his opponent's head. When Charlie lost, he'd go on for days about the loss, showing that he really did care about competing in the IFL.
We need to obviously implement a rule with a shorter shot clock. Also, you can't just walk with the ball like you're playing fucking football.
Let's take a look at Charlie's career. He was signed right before the one-on-one season of 2022. In that season, he had a 4-4 record and got swept in the playoffs. However, he could have easily gone 6-2 and earned a bye straight to the finals if it weren't for letting up 2 buzzer-beating game winners.
Boys, like it fell in the bush and then it blew away into the fucking ring. I don't know if you're cut out for this.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where?
Clean shot this
Doesn't
time.
matter.
Things are happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, coach.
And that's the game.
Charlie is very comparable to Kyrie Irving. You have no idea if he's going to show up, but if he does, he will give you a hard time whether he beats you or not. It's crazy to think that the rookie of the IFL, who is easily the most unpredictable player in IFL history, came centimeters away from earning a bye to the finals. Against Pritz, Charlie didn't have any flair like he did during the season. He was inefficient shooting the 3, to say the least, and that was the reason the IFL lost that game. I could write a whole essay about Charlie and the stories that come from his antics. The idea of a player like Charlie giving people hell in every aspect was one of the best parts of the one-on-one season. Although he can be a real pain for the sake of planning, I would not mind him coming back for another one-on-one season. The 3rd greatest IFL player of all time is none other than avid Republican and true American, Sam Dingman. Whether Sam is capable of being an IFL champion or not is yet to be seen. He's either left for summer camp or played with Josh every time there's been a championship. Sam cracked the top 3 of this list because he is easily the best defensive player in IFL history. He has 2 Defensive Player of the Years on his resume, and he allowed the least amount of points per game last one-on-one season at 47.3. Sam is one of the great founders of the league, and I mention this because the first era of IFL basketball took place in his backyard, Bagel Palace. He likely has the highest basketball IQ of anybody in the IFL, which comes from his avid viewership of NBA basketball. Sam is the most fundamentally consistent, which makes up for his lack of size. He moves from side to side really fast, which makes it extremely hard to blow past him, no matter how much open space you think you have. When you're driving to the basket, he plays with one hand near the ball and one hand up in the air, ready to contest a shot. Everybody who's ever played IFL basketball will agree that Sam is the hardest to play against. Needless to say, Sam is the GOAT defender. Critics of Sam might bring up his dreadful finals performance in the fall of 2021, and that's not unfair. Sam averaged only 11.4 points per game. However, his teammate was pretty bad in that series too, only averaging 1 single assist per game. Sam is the 3rd greatest player in IFL history because his style of play is so consistent and hard to go against. Although we don't know for certain, I think Sam would perform pretty well in a one-on-one playoffs if he had the chance to play.
Yeah, nobody. Boom. It's all good.
Number 2, Josh. Yeah, I'm about to talk about myself in the 3rd person for a long time. It's gonna be weird. Whatever. Josh is the type of player where you know exactly what he's gonna do, but you still can't stop it. When he wants to score in the paint, he will, and that's that. One of the best examples of Josh's dominance under the rim was games 4 through 6 of the IFL Finals, where he relied on his magic to improbably bring the series to 7 games, down 3-0. Although Josh did not win the aforementioned finals of 2022, or any finals for that matter, his lunch pail mentality, as shown in the 2022 finals, has done wonders for his career. Josh will show up to play every single day, and he will give you his all. By that, I mean he will work the hardest, hit shots at a higher efficiency than anyone else, post some of the most unguardable moves the league has seen, chase rebounds like a madman, and probably win. In 2022, Josh was the most efficient in every metric. He had a winning record against every player, was the only player with a winning record. He won MVP, and earned a bye to the finals. Josh's hardware prior to the 2022 season includes another MVP award, a Most Improved Player award, and absolute domination during the infant stages of the league. As mentioned before, the only monkey left on Josh's back is a championship, which has just narrowly escaped him a few times. In the one-on-one finals of 2021, likely the most embarrassing stain on his legacy, he blew multiple 20-point leads due to a lack of readiness and confidence. In 2022, he made the finals very interesting, but was edged out by William in Game 7, mostly due to a lack of three-point shooting and poor clock management. The obvious thing separating Josh from the one spot is a championship. However, his utter domination of the league in every regular season, his inspiring work ethic, and his improvement over the course of his career is what lands him at the number 2 spot. If anybody is an emblem of IFL values, it's Josh, and he has a hardware, record, statistics, and stories to back that up.
Will versus Charlie first round.
Just one game at a time? I guess so, yeah. Consistency. One day at a time. One day at a time.
Coming in at my number 1 spot for the greatest IFL player of all time is none other than William Quinlan. First, let me get William's weaknesses out of the way, which are few and far between. William tends to be a poor regular season performer, posting losing seasons in each one-on-one season that he has played. He did win an MVP, but it came in a shortened 2v2 season. Many people believe William doesn't take the regular season seriously, as you'll often see him worrying more about being funny and making jokes than winning games. For example, he'll show up to games with Burger King or McDonald's meals, play poorly, and then blame the referee for his loss. He just seems to go about the regular season as if he doesn't care. Anyway, William is the champion of the IFL, and that's why he's on the top of this list. He's literally the owner of every single championship trophy that the IFL has ever made. In the playoffs and finals, he elevates his game to unmatched heights. After a rocky regular season in 2021, where he had a losing record against Josh, he showed up in the finals, hit a ton of three-point shots, and won in 6 games. In the 2-on-2 finals of 2021, he dominated the series and won in 5 games. In the one-on-one finals of 2022, yet again against Josh, he was absolute money. He shot 32% from 3, while scoring 54 points per game. William was sinking so many shots that Josh's own family impulsively expressed their awe at his shooting ability, much to his unhappiness. Here's one of William's defining moments. Down by 3 points in Game 7 of the finals, William had the ball with about a minute to go. He could either miss a shot and give Josh a chance to take the game back, or seal the game. Lo and behold, he hit a glossy jump shot, and listen as his dad said, he's got ice in his veins. Here's the thing. The playoffs is where all chips are on the table. It's where nothing that happened prior matters. It's when everybody's watching. Needless to say, William has been dominant in the playoffs, and that's why he's the GOAT. Thank you all for watching. I'd like to personally thank every player who's played in the IFL for making this possible. It's an honor to compete against all of you. Goodbye.